Yeah, you know me, quote, working from home, unquote, it's easy, turn a 2-day weekend into 3, see we be within reach, TXT to MST to BD.
Vibrations in my pocket as my phone says I'm juking, it's the auto beat commander, here's you seeing what I'm doing, your retail work politely, I'm hardly feeling mighty, think about taking off early, log on and I'm alrighty.
Welcome everybody to a Radulich Broadcasting Network exclusive Scream Boy podcast. We are excited to bring you the show tonight because we are looking at something fresh, something new, something exciting. And I am proud, I'm absolutely proud to have the patriarch of the Radulich Broadcasting Network with me tonight. Mark Radulich is here to talk about DC Universe. Not DC Universe Online, the game. We're talking about the new streaming app, everything that's involved in. We'll get into that. But Mark, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I went to go see Predator last night. I'm going to go see White Boy Rick tomorrow. I threw the wife out of the house. I threw her on her keister. That's what I did. Picked her up by the panties and tossed her on her keister, and I said, go out with your other broads and go see Crazy Rich Asians. So she said, you don't have to tell me twice, and she sped on out of here. So the kids are watching Bunked, and I'm here with you. Let's get this party started.
Two things. Crazy Rich Asians.
What about it?
What?
I saw that. It's a movie.
Yeah, I saw that at the theater, the poster for it, and I had pretty much the same reaction as I had with you just now. I went, what? Because I've never heard of it.
It's a chick thing. It actually made a lot of money. It's doing very well. I think it made enough to where it's spawning a sequel. Maybe could be
Crazy Rich Asians 2.
More Asian-y. It was based on a novel, from what I understand, and my wife actually saw it a couple of weeks ago.
Novel Sapphire Pushed by Sapphire. No.
She saw it a couple of weeks ago, and then but none of her friends were able to go see it. Now they're able to. So, the secret to a strong marriage is not actually hanging out with each other, but sending each other out for alone time. That's the secret to a strong marriage.
I get that. I mean, I don't really, because I'm completely alone and single. Mm-hmm. But but I get that. I just sometimes don't like people. So, but what were your kids watching? I've never heard of that either.
So, Bunked is the spinoff from Jessie, starring insatiable lead actress Debbie Ryan.
Yeah, that girl.
Yeah, so Jessie was about a rich family who hire a teenager, early 20s-year-old nanny, and you never really see it's named Jessie, and she's nannying these kids while she goes for auditions because she's trying to become an actress, and it's I think one of the kids might be biological, the rest are all adopted. So there's an Indian kid, a black kid, and I think 2 white kids.
Well, if they're not adopted, then if they're biological, they're going to make a lot of money.
So the elder blonde girl. So Jessie left. As did the butler, who I believe was the dad on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I may have that wrong, but it kind of looked like him. Definitely looked like Uncle Phil, if it wasn't. Anyway, and then so the lead blonde, the black sister, and the Indian kid spun off into their own series called Bunked, where they're eternally at a sleepaway summer camp. And they added new kids. They added new kids to the cast, and my daughter, who has her own Netflix account, is obsessed with this show.
It sounds horrible for us.
Yeah, Lily, come here.
It takes me back to the days when I first met you, and I remember you yelling at your cat.
What is it?
Hey, Lily, how many times have you watched the same episodes of Bunked?
Maud!
You're on the air. Talk.
I don't know.
On average, how many times have you
10?
have you gone through the series 3 times in total? No one can see you nodding. You have to talk.
Yes. I just really like Bunk. It's my favorite show.
I know. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm telling the world right now that that's your favorite show. I'm just wondering how many times you've seen any. How many times you think you've been through the entire series?
I think I have been 10 times. I don't know.
You think 10 times?
Yeah, I haven't been counting how many.
Maybe you should go outside and play, huh?
Okay.
It's just you also like Glitter Force, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
And you like Doki Doki Glitter Force. Is that the other one?
Yes. Glory Force Doki Doki.
Glory Hole Doki Doki.
No,
Whoa,
Glitter Force
no,
Doki Doki.
no, Mark.
Oh, Glitter Force Doki Doki. Got it.
Yeah, there we go.
But you like Bunk the best, and so that's what you watch over and over again?
Yeah.
Okay. You can go away now.
Be gone, child.
What?
Please don't tell this to the entire universe.
Okay. We only have about 20 listeners, but she said, please don't tell us to the entire universe.
It is out on the internet, Lily. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So for the 20 of you dedicated followers of my podcast, don't spread that around that she only watches Bunked.
And let's be honest. If it keeps you listening, go ahead.
But that's not what we came here to talk about.
Not at all. But I was curious. You know,
Okay.
I have to ask questions.
Would you like to know anything else about my family?
No, I'm good. I mean, you know, I know they're a lovely family, and
Yeah, they're okay.
Well, okay. But anyway, what I was saying earlier is we are here to talk about DC Universe. Now, DC Universe, DC has come out with their own streaming service, their own, I guess you could say digital comic service. Not, I guess you could say that's what it exactly is.
I believe the industry term is their over-the-top streaming service.
Over-the-top streaming service.
Yeah.
So it includes TV shows, movies, comic books, like any sort of reading material that they have, really. Original content, meaning they have, I guess, documentary style shows on the books or the writers and artists. That's at least what it looked like, because that's what I saw.
What this is an update to their DC All Access app, which was initially it was like it was news and it was a shopping app. And they kind of retooled it to be essentially their version of Netflix and Amazon Books.
Well, Marvel has their books service out.
Right.
It's just Marvel.com, and you go and
it's $70 a year. I think $70 a year, and you can read all the Marvel comics you want.
Yeah.
And I think the new stuff comes online about 6 months after it's printed.
Which is kind of a rip for me. But I get it. I do, because, you know, it's less than $10 a month, and so they can't really offer their new stuff like that when you can go to a brick and mortar and buy the actual print, or buy, you know, the digital copy on, you know, Comixology or from them, actually. So DC Universe, I mean, like, we've been reading about this for some time. You told me about it. Or you talked about it a lot to me, and you actually are the one that talked me into trying it out. Now, I wasn't a big fan of paying the entire year up front, so thankfully they have monthly, you know, like $8 a month, $7.99 a month, which comes out to a little more than what you paid, but for me, being able to cancel it at any time is worth it. Not that I'm saying that I would cancel it, but it's just, you know, $80 is, you know, kind of hard for me to swallow at something whether I don't know whether I'm going to like it or not. So what did you think of the actual price point of it?
I'm fine with it. I mean, it's a little cheaper than the WWE app, which, you know, is $60, I think, for half the year. But I mean, the value on that, if you're like me and your wrestling watching has been reduced to just the pay-per-views, it's worth its weight in gold.
Absolutely.
So for this, for the $70 and you get 3 free months, I was willing to pay the upfront cost because I knew that in the long run, if it was saving me money on movies and TV series, especially with the amount of stuff that I cover for podcasts, I was like, you know what, this is probably a good investment. I thought it would also be helpful with the comic books because of the Source Material podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be a slightly less porn-looking read comics online.
It's so true.
Or read comics online that I could actually open in front of my kids and not be terribly embarrassed. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a website called Read Comics Online, which the way that they make their money is through advertisements, and their advertisements are all anime porn.
I get quote unquote real women looking to hook up with me on there as well.
Terrific.
Yeah, I did not realize that there were that many hot Asian women in Burlington, North Carolina. As they're telling me, so it's so I was reading something for the Source Material, and I was on my lunch break at work, and I said, "Oh, I'll just read that now," and opened up that website, and I was like, "No, I don't think I will." Because this is my work computer, and that could be bad. So it is. We just started covering more DC on Source Material, which is something you, Jesse Starcher, and myself are on. Jesse Starcher hosts that, and we have our shtick that we do. Stick. And then sometimes we'll talk about a comic book. But it really helps. It will really help out with any DC book that we want, because there is a lot of content as far as the books go. Did you get to peruse the comic books at all?
Yeah, I actually. What's funny? I went through my calendar, and I was like, okay, so what from my calendar can we actually that we're going to be covering is on this app, and almost nothing. It's hilarious.
Oh wow! I did not realize
the
that.
first thing that I could find that we've decided to cover between now and next year was the new Teen Titans from 1980.
Yeah.
And it's the first. Now, initially, it was only the first issue, but they've actually since I initially went and looked at it, they've added 5 more issues.
Oh, good.
So it's the new Teen Titans 1 through 6, which I think is what we're covering anyway on the site. And I mean, maybe they'll add more to it by the time we actually get there. We're not going to be dealing with this until next year. But as far as like the rest of the calendar, depending on when you're listening to this, we don't have a tremendous amount of DC lined up for the rest of the year for one reason or another. But like in October, we're covering Batman Haunted Knight, and they've only got, last time I checked, now like I said, it's Batman Day today when we're recording this, so they may have added more stuff since then. But Haunted Knight was made up of 3 Legends of the Dark Knight one-shots, and they only had one of those one-shots when I first looked at it on Thursday, I think it was.
I actually should have picked that up today. I was in the local brick and mortar here, Mantis Media. Unfortunately, I don't think they're, after the first year, I think they're going to be gone. But they actually had that, and I should have picked it up, but I was too busy looking at Magic the Gathering cards.
So if I look up like Haunted Knight, I don't think anything comes up. So we have so for you listeners, we actually have the DC Universe desktop app open right now.
Yeah. That was the other thing, the actual format of it. Before we get into the content, the format of it, I initially was very disappointed because it didn't come as an actual app like Netflix, YouTube, whatever. And it could be easily formatted, not easily. I don't know, because I don't have that kind of knowledge or ability. But I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't an actual app.
It's an app.
You have to. Well, I mean, it's a desktop app.
Yeah, but no. There's apps for your cell phone and your.
Is there?
Yes, there is. Again, it's the retooled DC Access app. It's now called DC Universe.
Okay. See, I was thinking that there was no app for it.
Nope, there is.
Okay, so I'll have to download that app and see if it's on my Xbox as well, because I've been running it off of the desktop, like the actual website.
Yeah, I've run it off the desktop, and I have it on my Apple TV, and it's on my phone. And it's on my phone.
So I have all of those, and I need to do that. Okay, so there I was completely misinformed, or by myself, and have learned something today. See, we learn things on this show, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice save.
This is an educational podcast, and we like to teach you things. So I like to be right. I'm actually kind of ticked that I wasn't right, but now, but so on the app, is it a little easier to run than the actual website? Because the website, it's set up really easy. So
I'm not crazy about the setup.
Hard? Okay.
I'm not, to be honest with you. You're asking like how's the interface on the app versus the desktop. I'm not crazy about either one. I mean, you're not wrong. They're not difficult to manipulate, and if you spend enough time with it, you'll find what you're looking for eventually, maybe, if it's on there. But at the onset, I kind of find the search to be a little unwieldy, and I think part of my problem is I was expecting a more comprehensive, especially with the comics, I was expecting there to be, here's an example. Aquaman, right? Aquaman should be an easy one for us to because we're going to be covering that when the Aquaman movie comes out. We're covering the next 6 issues of the new 52 Aquaman. So, you just type in Aquaman, right? And you figure they would have all the new 52 stuff up there because all the animated stuff is from the new 52.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So
I know where you're going with this.
So you go to series, and there's Rebirth, and there's Aquaman and the others. There's Aquaman from 2002. There's Aquaman from 1993. There's something called Aquaman featuring Black Manta. There's Aquaman from 1962, 1994. You know what there isn't? Fucking New 52!
Tell us how you really feel about it, Mark.
So ridiculous.
It really is.
So it says the full DC Comic digital library will be available for purchase in October. What the fuck is... Okay,
purchase, my friend.
So essentially, you can purchase the entire DC library in October for X amount of money, on top of what you're paying for the subscription service.
Right.
Terrific.
It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, right. It's like Netflix offering you a movie and then offering a rental service on new movies.
Right.
Yeah, they're offering you, you pay, what, $10 a month or whatever you pay for Netflix, and you get all these crappy movies. But when they release their exclusive content or a new movie, you have to rent it for $5, which that kind of defeats the purpose of having a subscription service, in my opinion. If you're subscribing to this, if you're paying for it every month, then shouldn't you be like one of the people that not one of the people, but shouldn't you? I mean, you're already a customer. Shouldn't you be eligible for that new content as well?
Okay. There's been an update. They did add an Aquaman New 52. All three issues.
All 3 issues.
That's half of what we covered in Volume 1, by the way.
Right. All 3 issues.
3 issues of the New 52 run.
How many issues are there in the New 52 run?
I'd have to look it up, but more than 3.
More than 3, yeah. That was actually the answer I was looking for. But I get it, though. I mean, I kind of get it. They can't put everything out right now, and we live in a very fast food drive-through age of I want it right now. So we have to wait on certain things, but
here's what I'll tell you.
Making us pay.
Here's what I'll tell you. if this were just based on the comic book service, I wouldn't have done it.
Oh no, it's not worth it.
No, this isn't.
It's just based on the comic book service.
This is so. Here's the good, the bad, and the ugly on the DC Universe app. As far as functionality and interface, it's okay. It's not the worst I've seen. It's not the best I've seen. I think you can muddle through it on the Apple on the Apple TV. It takes a little more monkeying around than I would like to do. But I mean, it's not like I haven't been able to find things. I've watched, and we're going to do a commentary on this after we close up this show. But I was able to watch Superman Doomsday. I was able to find that easy enough. And I've watched about 20 minutes of Batman Ninja, which I'd never seen before. And
how is that so far?
It's different than what I thought it was going to be, and so far I like it. It's an interesting concept. I think
you and I have the same taste in movies and stuff. We don't look for Academy Award winners every time we go.
No, I'm not expecting everything to be the Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
But like I said, I'm able to manipulate it enough. I mean, it's not Hulu. Hulu's got a great interface. Netflix has a really good interface. This one's kind of meh, but it's usable. I don't get to the point where I get so frustrated I don't want to use the app anymore. So on top of that, as far as I don't know if you want to get into content yet, but the content's good. I think as a beginning offering. Obviously, the big seller is going to be the original content: Titans, Swamp Thing, Harley Quinn, Doom Patrol, Stargirl. All of that's forthcoming in 2019. Titans comes out a little later this year, but the rest of it's coming in 2019. Right. And I think over time, more will be added to it. So let's just give them something now to get people kind of used to the app, and then we'll parcel out things. Right. We'll parcel out things as time goes on, and once we have enough data, from algorithms extracted from use, where we see are people watching the Wonder Woman movies and the Wonder Woman series? Do we need more Wonder Woman? Do we need more Green Lantern? Do we need less Green Lantern? Do we need more Flash? I was thinking about this as to what's available. DC, the brand may be DC, but the rights may be owned by others, and those rights may not be owned by Warner Brothers and DC at this time. So, like, the Supergirl movie is not on here, and
which completely disappoints me.
Yeah, no, it's hot garbage, but it's hot garbage I wanted to watch.
Right, it's terrible, but it's my kind of terrible.
Right, but I don't know who owns the rights to that movie to where they may not have had the ability to put it on there, or they do and they just chose not to.
Right.
Like they said, they withheld some of the Batman stuff initially until today.
Right.
And then when
Dark Knight just came on there today.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that was the first thing that popped up when you bring up the website.
Yeah, all 7 Batman movies, I believe, or I'm not entirely sure about Batman, the third Batman movie, but like the 4 Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney Batman movies are up there, and at least 2 of the who was the director?
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, at least 2 out of the 3 Christopher Nolan movies are up there. I'm going to see if the third one's there now.
Batman Begins was there, and Dark Knight was advertised today.
Right.
So let's talk about content a little bit, a little more than we have been. Now, obviously, we're excited about the books and everything, and hoping they get more out there. And a little confused at having to buy the rest of them, but they have a lot of these old shows now. One of the old shows that I'm kind of excited about is the original Wonder Woman series.
Yes.
I was a huge fan of that when I was a kid, watching reruns and things like that. I watched Wonder Woman, The Incredible Hulk, all that stuff. I used to run behind the couch and hide when the Incredible Hulk changed. Bruce Banner changed to the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, Ronnie.
It was terrifying as a child.
I love that show.
Oh, it's great now. My favorite is the bear fight.
Yes.
He chucks the bear into the lake. So, unfortunately, I don't remember as much Wonder Woman as I should. So that's why I'm excited to go back and watch it. And I'm watching it with kind of an open mind of knowing that it's probably not going to be great. But, this is nostalgia, But then they have, the old Batman movie. Not old, but it's like, 89?
Yeah.
Batman. Then they have, the sequels to that. And then they have, the new Batman movies. They've got a lot of Batman out. And, so there's a few shows that I want them to, to get, like The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
That's on here.
It is? Okay, great. I did not find that, first off, but I am super excited that that's there. So I'll be watching that. So the shows and the movies are great. What I'm concerned with is the original content. Like, I'll just say it right offhand, Titans. Titans worries me. It does not look like something I would enjoy.
Just real quick,
because, yeah.
As far as series go, it's the 3 seasons of the Linda Carter Wonder Woman,
Right.
4 seasons of The Adventures of Superboy, 1 season Birds of Prey, 4 seasons of The Adventures of Lois and Clark, 1 season of the 1990s Flash, 1 season of Constantine, 6 seasons of The Adventures of Superman, 2 seasons of Human Target, and 2 seasons of Superman serials.
Okay, so to be fair, there was only like 1 season of a lot of those.
Right.
There was like only 1 season of the 1990 Flash.
Right.
There was only, I don't know how many seasons of Lois and Clark there actually were, but they probably had them all out there. But as far as the others go, I'm not sure how many seasons of Wonder Woman there were, but it's cool that they have what they can get out.
Well, weirdly enough, they only have 1 season of the Batman the Animated Series. Yes, there was only 4 seasons of Lois and Clark.
Okay, good. That's going to be a popular watch on there. I mean, there's no getting around it. I mean, nobody. I've not met anybody that hasn't said that's one of their favorite cartoons growing up, or watch it now and don't absolutely adore it. It kind of defies all logic that it still holds up over time, but it really does. And I thank Mark Hamill for that, to be honest with you. So they've got a lot of great shows and movies on there. But this original content, man, like I said, really worries me. Not worries me like I have money invested in this company. But I mean, it's just like I love what Marvel is doing with a lot of their TV shows. Like Runaways, love it. Cloak and Dagger, love it. Love all the Netflix shows. Even Iron Fist, that's the most picked on television show Marvel has put out, and I love it. I'm right in the middle of season 2 right now, and I can't wait to finish it up. But Titans, when I saw that preview for Titans, I was less than thrilled with it, man. What was your initial take on that preview for Titans with, the dark and edgy, Nightwing dropping an F-bomb and things like that?
Okay, well, I'm of 2 minds on this, okay? Because there's stuff that I liked, and then there's stuff I thought was silly.
Okay. So let's go with what you liked.
I mean, it comes across as a Greg Berlanti CW TV show. Like, I know they were pitching this to TNT, and when it didn't fly, they reserved it for their streaming service. But let's decide that they weren't going to invest their money in the streaming service. They didn't feel like they had enough content. Maybe they felt like, let's beef up the CW and the CW's streaming app. Another one that I have on my Apple TV. Instead, Titans would have fit in with Arrow just fine. You know, I could definitely see the way they shot it, and just from the preview, everything looked like it matches the tone of the Greg Berlanti CW series. You know, especially Arrow, but you know, the Flash and Legends. I mean, they all have their own motifs. You know, Supergirl started off on CBS and has spent the last 2 seasons on the CW, and that also matches the tone. By the by, it's 2 out of the 3 on Christopher Nolan. For whatever reason, the third Nolan Batman movie is not uploaded. So that's another weird thing. Like, you put 2 of them up, but not the third one.
Not old enough yet. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, so back to Titan. So I was like, okay, well, this matches in tone. This makes sense. If you're gonna do a TV series, you know, I think that going wildly different from the tone that they've already set with their successful series would have been a mistake. I just for branding purposes, I think you confuse the audience when you do stuff like that. Okay. So I'm okay with it. Now, a couple of things. Like, I don't mind the way. I don't know if that's Jason Todd or Dick Grayson. I'm not entirely sure.
Probably Dick Grayson.
I'm going to check just a second to see which version of Robin that's supposed to be. But I thought he looked okay. I thought Raven looked okay. I know Raven's gotten a lot of negative feedback as far as, like, you know, she looks a little too gothy. But, like, I'm okay with it. Beast Boy, I think they're trying to save money on special effects and costuming by not having him be green all the time. I think he turns green at some points when he uses his powers, but I think when he's just walking around picking his nose, he's not green. Which, okay, I could accept that.
I really want him to walk around and pick his nose on the show now.
By the way, it is Dick Grayson.
Yeah, I figured it would be because of Starfire.
I don't have a problem that they casted a black girl as Starfire. I have a problem they didn't make her look like an orange alien and instead made her look like she was, you know, Pimp of the Year in 1996.
Right. That was one of the main things that infuriated me. Like, I have no problem with who they cast, you know? No problem. But the fact that, you know, she doesn't look like an alien.
Right.
She is an alien. And they gave her, I think, orange hair, which is ridiculous. But she was wearing that big fur coat and I don't know what else. But it just looks terrible. And it just, you know, the whole concept of it, like you said, it looks like it was shot fine. You know, just like you were saying, it looks like the DC, like the Arrowverse shows. Again, with the multi-camera, TV shows and with the cinematic quality to it. I'm okay with all that, but it's just the fact that it's so out of the way that they have these characters portrayed. Raven, I don't mind. I mean, if anybody, she's the daughter of a demon. She's going to be a little goth. That probably weighs heavy on her. So she's going to have a little bit of a dark side to her. And the guy that's playing Dick Grayson looks good. It looks fine. But Beast Boy bothers me, and she really, the way they portray her really bothers me.
Now, I know that that what you really want me to weigh in on is fuck Batman.
Yes, I want you to weigh in on that. Why is that needed?
Here's what I'll tell you. It didn't offend me personally. I thought it was silly. I got a laugh out of it. It definitely felt like they were trying way too hard, and I think, instead of like just focusing on creating good content for a general audience, which is the Marvel method, I feel like the people behind DC and at Warner Brothers are like, we're going to separate ourselves by only aiming our product towards adults, even though what we're dealing with is childhood fantasy. Right.
They have ostracized a lot of viewers by making it adult content like that. They could have a lot more people tuning into this if they made it. I'm not even going to say family friendly, but made it a little more PG-13, I guess. Not, I don't know how it's really going to look or how it's going to play out, but by throwing that in there, you know, Robin throwing around F-bombs and hating Batman for some reason, and stepping on people's neck to kill them, it's completely out of character for Robin / Nightwing, whoever he is, and it's something that I probably would not let my children watch. I mean, me personally, it doesn't offend me because, I mean, my gosh, I just watched The Predator yesterday, and so you know, the language doesn't in a movie or a show doesn't really affect me to a point of, you know, if it's overbearing, I'll probably turn it off. But you know, that doesn't bother me. But it's completely out of character for Robin.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like, if this is Jason Todd or Damian Wayne, I was like, okay, I get it. I could absolutely see Damian Wayne saying "fuck Batman."
Yeah, absolutely.
But like Dick Grayson was near sycophantic of a follower of Batman. Like, he wouldn't he wouldn't say "fuck Batman." He'd say, "I want to fuck Batman." I think that would be more in my /fiction piece that I wrote.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Are you writing fan fiction here, buddy? But it's out of character for Dick Grayson to say that.
Right.
I mean, even when he wasn't Robin anymore, what'd he do? He went as Nightwing, you know, and picked up another dark mantle of, you know,
but he was
Knight-esque mantle.
But but like, if you look at his relationships to Damian Wayne and to Tim Drake, as it's been written, I mean, people might be listening to this going like, "Oh, come on, guys, it's just character, it's just fiction." But I mean, this was fairly consistent in the New 52, in Rebirth. You know, I mean, as long as there's, you know, ever since like Death in the Family and they killed Jason Todd, the every iteration and every generation of Batman comics, Dick Grayson was never an adversary of Batman.
Right. Ever.
He picked up the mantle of it when Azrael was defeated during the Nightfall saga. You know, he's always been, you know, he's coached Damian when, you know, in the way, you know, trying to tell him like, hey, you know, your dad's an honorable dude and he's worth listening to. Like, he's always, like, he wanted to step out and be his own man, but not at the cost of his relationship to Bruce.
Well, Bruce was like a father figure to him.
Right. So, again, fuck Batman seems a little odd.
It's a little, yeah, excessive. So, I don't know that they've ever really had a falling out that bad, to where, you know, Dick completely wrote him off.
What kills me is like, is that Jeff Johns is a producer on this.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Jeff Johns. If you look at the wiki for this is developed by Akiva Goldsman, Jeff Johns, and Greg Berlanti.
Mm.
And there's a couple of comments here from Jeff Johns throughout the wiki, you know, that have been footnoted. One of which was, you know, talking about they felt the series would be a little more adult than the television series Riverdale, calling it not necessarily a teen drama, but more of an adventure piece. And then, oh gosh, what was the other thing that he said that caught my attention? There was something about like they want, you know, part of his character is him wanting to step out from the shadow of Batman, but like this seems like a hit you over the head with a brick way of doing it.
Yeah. It's not. It doesn't seem organic. You know, the way a character should lay it out. It just seems, like you said, really forced. That they were trying to separate this from, I guess, every other DC Universe show, Arrowverse show, or anything like that. It's, I mean, let's be honest. It's not. If I'm being completely transparent, it's not something I'm looking forward to, and I will watch for sake of, doing a show on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch the entire season, but I don't have much hope for it.
So
I hate to say it like that.
So here's how the wiki writes both Dick Grayson and Jason Todd on the show. Dick Grayson is a circus performer who, after his parents' death, was trained by Batman to fight crime as his sidekick. Now in his adulthood, Dick becomes the leader of the Titans in his quest to step out from his mentor's shadow. And then Jason Todd, which kind of made me laugh when I read this the first time, Batman's current Robin. Showrunner Greg Walker loved the unbridled sense of self that Jason has, that there's a lack of maybe self-awareness, but for sure self-consciousness in terms of how he comports himself and how he moves through the world. He's completely, seemingly unaffected by darkness. He kind of embraces it or walks right through it. He's a breath of fresh air, and that's what I love about him. He's got a punk rock, no-holds-barred attitude that's massively unburdened. There's a lot of energy that comes with that. People voted to have him murdered.
Right? That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like, is anyone currently working for DC like completely divorced from the company's own history? Good God!
Do you want Jason Todd dead? Someone created in the 80s. Someone created a way to vote overwhelmingly yes to having him murdered unceremoniously, like by the Joker with a daggone crowbar, and then blowing him up.
I was gonna say he wasn't even murdered with the tire iron, it was a crowbar. It wasn't even murdered with the crowbar. He was just beat fucking senseless and then blown up.
I mean, that wasn't. It was just overdone. It was like the Joker. Joker was really trying to send a message, and by that, the writers of this book were trying to send everyone else a message. Yes, we hear you. Here you go. He's dead. Don't worry about it.
Here, is this enough blood for you?
He's already dead. Oh my goodness. So that in itself is honestly why I'm worried about this show. The content of this show.
Now they're currently Swamp Thing. I think is currently in production and might actually be shooting. Are you excited about Swamp Thing?
I am, because I have not seen anything of Swamp Thing since the movies.
Mm-hmm.
The first movie I thought was incredible. Just absolutely loved it as a kid. It was a little more adult than what I was thinking when I went back and watched it. I was like, what were my parents thinking? Let me watch this. And then Swamp Thing 2 came out, and even as a kid I was like, oh, well, that's there. And so I'm excited for Swamp Thing, but hopefully they don't make it an emo artsy, F Batman kind of thing.
Actually, now that we've done this, that's all I want. I want every character like, fuck Batman.
Stargirl.
Stargirl, how do you feel about things? Fuck Batman.
What is happening to the DC universe?
Everyone wants to run a train on Batman.
It's just ridiculous. Batman is DC's Wolverine. Everybody, he's in every book and on every team ever.
Yeah.
So everybody loves him, whether he deserves it or not. So immediately, what they do with their front running show, what they're advertising for this service, they immediately like, nope, he hates Batman. I mean, F Batman. What? No. And, Swamp Thing 2. So, what other shows did you read that they were working on?
I'm glad you asked. I have the wiki up.
I knew you did.
So, coming up next is Doom Patrol, which is spinning out of Titans, then Swamp Thing, then Stargirl.
Okay. Doom Patrol, I am somewhat familiar with, so I'm a little excited for that. Stargirl, I'm a little...
Yeah,
we'll see.
Not really familiar with Stargirl. I guess she was in the Justice Society.
Yes, she has a big staff that grants her powers.
They just did her. She was on a season of Legends.
Oh, okay, yeah. So what are they going to do there? They're going to completely recast it.
I guess.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Either that, or they're just going to give that broad her own show. And then they're working on 2 animated shows. Third season of Young Justice, or Young Justice Outsiders, and then there's a Harley Quinn animated show that's coming up. And then in 2020 is Metropolis, which is, I believe, a Superman prequel, much like Gotham.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
Gotham. First season of Gotham was pretty good. Then it kind of went off the rails.
Yeah. Then they forgot what the premise of Gotham was.
Yeah. It was Gotham with no Batman, and then they introduced Batman.
Well, no. Then they introduced every single fucking character but Batman.
Well, that's true, yeah. But they had a young Bruce Wayne on there, so they kind of introduced Batman before he was Batman.
Yeah, they have mucked up that, you know. if you view that under the auspices of the the multiverse, that's the universe where Batman became Batman at 13.
Right. Oh, so weird.
Yeah. So anyway,
I did enjoy one quick thing about Gotham. I did enjoy the guy that was supposed to be Joker but wasn't.
yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to say about this. I think, look, there's only so much storage space and bandwidth out there, and I think that, like, you know, I think they threw up what made sense for now, to get people started. And I think, much like Netflix, stuff comes on Netflix, stuff goes on Netflix. Yeah. And, you know, if you don't watch it when it's up there, well, maybe you'll see it on Hulu, maybe you won't. But I think DC Universe is going to be the same thing, where, like, you know, like, we're waiting for that Supergirl movie. Probably when there's a Supergirl movie in theaters, which they're currently working on, that apparently is their new focus. You know, depending on what they're doing with Superman. Apparently they're not doing another Man of Steel. Henry Cavill's out of the role of Superman, and they're not doing any more Superman movies for the time being.
Ridiculous, man.
So, well, everyone's in fucking panic mode now. Everyone's in #MeToo panic mode. And...
okay, wait. You have to explain that one to me.
Everything is for chicks now. We want more more movies directed by chicks, more TV shows directed by chicks, more leads as chicks, more everything's chicks. Broad dames, you know what I'm talking about, vaginas. So, Santa has come and he's given everybody the women. That's what's happening in the world. And so DC's in fucking panic mode, where it's just like, no one's coming to see our movies. You know what we're missing? More broads. That's what we're missing. So we're gonna do more Wonder Woman. We're gonna do Supergirl. We're gonna do, you know, Harley Quinn. We're gonna do Birds of Prey. We're gonna do all you know. They're like mining the entire DC pantheon for any broad, that's ever graced the pages of a DC comic. I'm like, yeah, they're all getting their own movies.
I mean, I'm okay with Supergirl getting her own movie.
Yeah, Dick, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about, like, giving female characters their own movies. I'm saying if this is your sole strategy in trying to create more viewers for your movies, you're missing the point. The point isn't that Wonder Woman didn't get enough screen time in Batman v Superman. The point that Batman v Superman was a hot pile of garbage.
Right. It completely was.
Write better movies. It won't matter who the fucking star is.
And then I watched it again. I was like, "There's no defending this. There's no defending this." My mom didn't want to watch it just because Batman and Superman are friends. They don't fight. Like, you don't read comic books.
So I was in the car with my son, and I can't remember what podcast I was listening to. But it was what was being discussed was Batman hitting. Oh, I was listening to re-listening to the Half in the Bag review of Batman v Superman, where they all decided the best part of the movie was when Batman hit Superman over the head with a sink. And
it really was. I mean, it was pretty good.
And my son, whatever my son was paying attention to, that caught his attention. He was like, "When did this happen? And when can I see it?"
And how old is your son?
4 years old.
And that should tell you something, writers of DC movies.
Yes, the
four-year-old is more interested.
the 4-year-old suddenly became very interested in what was happening when Batman hit Superman over the head with a sink. But I want to close out this rant, and again, to be clear, make Supergirl movies. Fine. Make Batgirl, make Birds of Prey, make Harley Quinn, but just making women directors and stars of your movie isn't a strategy. It's a panic thing. It's a you're just throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. Right, sitting down and having a plan and writing better movies, and not having the company that makes rock music videos recut your fucking trailer and then recut your movie for some odd reason. Not a winning strategy. Suicide Squad, by the way.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say this. I think as when the Supergirl movie does eventually come out and Swamp Thing, the TV show, I think as things are introduced to the service, they'll back it up with more stuff. Like this Batman Day thing was a really good example of it, where it was like, we'll withhold some Batman stuff so that when Batman Day comes along, we can say, look, here's more Batman stuff.
Right. Well, I have no problem with what they're releasing. I mean, how they're releasing stuff. Really, what they're releasing. I have no problem with it at all. I love the fact that I'm able to watch any of this stuff when I can. But the fact that I don't know, DC, it's their extended universe is a hot mess right now.
Mm-hmm.
You let go one of the most perfect Superman you could ever have. One, by giving him garbage to read and to act. As far as writing, goes in these movies, Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel wasn't as bad. I still stand behind that. It was not good, but it was not bad either. For me, I know a lot of people don't agree with me on that, but it just the fact that you let go, you let your most perfect Batman or Superman you had in years ago, just so you could do that, but to back it up, to justify that, they're like, oh, don't worry about Henry Cavill leaving. We've got a Supergirl movie in the works. That does not excite me in the least. And then so they've got a chance to save themselves with the featured content that they have on DC Universe. And with what they release on DC Universe, they've got a real good chance of redeeming themselves. But as of right now, I don't have much hope in DC. So, but this is not about them as a movie company. This is about DC Universe. The more I play with it, the more excited I get about it. The more I think this could work, as long as they don't screw the pooch on some of the stuff that they have and that they can release.
All right, or
making people buy stuff when it's not necessary. But
let me quick tell you something. Yeah. I keep clicking through things, and it's like, okay, they don't have a lot of I click on movies, I see what movies there are, and I just went to I think I clicked on look at all movies. I clicked on something where it was no filters, every movie and TV show that you got on here. Suddenly, I found a lot more stuff.
Yeah, you can't just go with what they display when you're looking at it. You have to dig a little deeper.
Right. I feel like if you really want to know what's on this thing, you have to click all and look at everything and sort through everything, because I didn't realize there's both Green Lantern animated movies on here. Emerald Knights and First Flight. There's more Justice League on here than I thought there was. There's Crisis on Two Earths. There's Doom, Gods and Monsters, New Frontier.
I like Gods and Monsters, so I'm glad it's on there.
Yeah, I'm still looking through this thing.
One of the newer ones, I think it's newer. Death of Superman. Is going to be on there, and they're releasing. It is on there right now.
Yes.
Superman. Did you happen to see that?
I did. I watched that with my kids, actually.
What did you think of that?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I've actually really enjoyed the last recent slate of animated movies. So the 1987 The Spirit's on here.
Wow, really?
Yep, 1974 Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. Okay. Not a whole... there's the Watchmen motion comic, Watchmen Tales of the Black Freighters on here.
Yeah.
So, okay. No, there's not... not much more than I thought there was, but still a little bit more. There's a little bit more Justice League than I thought. Looks like there's only 2 from the... not counting the Death of Superman. There's 2 New 52 era animated movies. It's Justice League War and then Justice League Throne of Atlantis.
Okay. Superman Doomsday is on there, and then Death of Superman, and then they're releasing Reign of the Supermen, which is of course going to be Steel, Eradicator, Superboy, and Robot Superman. I can't remember his name.
Okay. By the way, I misspoke. It looks like there's 3 seasons of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, good.
3 seasons
of many more seasons.
No, I feel like it was only 3 seasons. 3 seasons of Batman Brave and the Bold.
Okay.
And there's a couple of Batman movies from that time.
Thankfully, they have a lot of animated content on it.
Yeah.
Because DC can do no wrong, in my opinion, with their animated content.
Yeah, their animated content is fucking balls out.
Yeah. They have Marvel beat 6 Ways to Sunday on animated content. I don't care what anybody says. I watched Marvel anime one time, and it was just god awful. It was terrible. But so with their, just keep putting that DC animated stuff out there, man, and I'll keep watching. I know that. But as far as DC Universe goes as a website, as an app, it's pretty good. I mean, they've got a little bit of work to do, but as of right now, it's something that I could see myself getting into.
Yeah, no, there's definitely enough here to make the purchase worth it, And I think as things come out, it'll get more and more worth it. I definitely will not be abandoning read comics online anytime soon.
Yeah, no, me either.
But there's some fun stuff on here that we'll make some use of. I mean, I might even trade some things out that we decided we were going to look at. See, like here's a weird thing. Like DC Bombshells, there's only 3 issues.
Yeah.
Like that thing's into like 20s right now, I think.
Their comic book is weird how they've got it laid out. Their comic book, their stash of comic books that they have on here. But hopefully, as it goes along, they'll be debuting a lot more. Hopefully. So,
yep. I think right now they kind of threw up what they thought would be appealing for people, and then they'll see what gets the most clicks, and and then again they'll also, I'm sure, release stuff as more live action or animated content comes out.
Yeah. So as of right now, not bad. I mean, it's worth the money that I have in it. I know you found it worth what you paid for it. So they just need to keep pumping out the content, the books and whatnot, and
it gets
improving it.
It gets a B from me. I give it a solid. It's okay.
Yeah,
I don't love it. I don't love it. It's not the worst over the top app I've ever had to use.
Right. I think as far as that goes, any final thoughts or anything you want to say?
I'm flipping through the comics right now, and I feel like somebody there just like, okay, as far as the New 52 goes, don't put anything more than 3 issues per thing. 3 is the magic number.
No. Put it all out, buddy. Put it all out. I'm not a big fan of the New 52 storylines or anything, but if you're going to put it out there, put it all out.
Hey, don't tease me with 3 issues. This is horseshit.
Right. Right. Oh my
God
goodness.
damn it.
That's funny. But yeah, a solid B, solid. It's pretty good. It's worth what you're paying for it. So there can only go up from here. Well, they can go both ways, but hopefully they can only go up from here with what they release. I'm not a big fan of Titans, but I can't really say that because I haven't watched it yet. So,
Yeah, I would tell you with
let's
that.
see what comes of that.
I would tell you with that. Give it a fair chance. You might be surprised. I know, like we talked offline, and you're like, they've lost me already, and we haven't even started yet.
Granted, let's be honest, I'm like that with a lot of things that they've been putting out lately. So, but Mark, if there's one thing you know about me, I'll give it a fair chance. I'll watch it.
Okay.
I'll watch a lot of crap. I watch a lot of crap. I just watched a movie today called Happy Hunting, and it was about this alcoholic ex-con that stumbled onto this town where they hunted human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'll watch that, I'll definitely watch Titans.
Fair enough.
So with that, I'm going to say if you have any questions about it, hopefully we have enlightened you a little bit because we've played with it. We've browsed around on it. We have taken a look at what it has to offer. So if you have any more questions or anything like that, you can reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, anything like that, and ask away, and we will be more than happy to give you any answers that we have. But Mark, I'm going to ask you right now, what you got coming up, bud?
All right. So this past week on the Radulich Broadcasting Network, what did we do? We reviewed The Book of Bad Decisions on the Metal Hammer of Doom, which is the new Clutch album. We had a TV party tonight for Insatiable. We were supposed to do a TV party tonight for Cloak and Dagger, but my air conditioning broke, so we fled the house like Jacob. And my wife got very diva-ish. She was like, I will not stay in a hot house. I'm like, I used to not put the air conditioning on, and I lived in Miami to save money on electricity. Get the fuck out of here. But but I don't like to not be with my children, so it was like, well, she was taking the kids, and I was like, well, the kids can stay with me, and you can go to your mom's house, and it'll be fine, and I'll get them to school. And she was like, one, no, you won't.
Well, he knows you very well.
Well, she works with. I mean, she teaches at the school of my daughter, and my son's daycare. My son's preschool is right next to it. And it is like, retarded out of the way for me. So that's what she was trying to say. She's
right.
like, you're being ridiculous to make a point. So ultimately, we just decided to not do the show, and I went to my mother-in-law's and didn't sleep that night.
Because you were at your mother-in-law's.
Because I can never sleep at my mother-in-law's. I never get any sleep at all. That's why I hate going there.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law's a lovely person. Father-in-law's a lovely person. Can't sleep at their house. I always have problems there. That's why I didn't want to go. Anyway,
That's understandable.
Meanwhile, back in the city, we looked at Ronnie's favorite comic book this year on Monday, Exit Stage Left.
Why do you do that to me?
The Snagopus Chronicles.
Why do you do that?
Because it's funny. Next week, it's Predator Week, all week long here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. On the Source Material Podcast, we're going to look at a fun one called Archie versus Predator. Archie from Riverdale. Predator from space. Well, they fought.
This ain't your mama's Archie.
No, sir.
Well, it starts out as maybe a little bit like your parents' Archie, but then it ends up...
It all goes so very wrong.
Yeah, it goes south quickly.
And then Tuesday, Damn You, Hollywood's back. Just a little, just putting in we're just putting in the tip. Then we're running away again.
Mark.
And we're going to be reviewing The Predator, which let me give you a little bit away. Loved it. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, it was so much fun watching that.
Yes, it was.
And Winfrey's going to be on that with you, right?
Yep, he's going to hate it.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the pain in his voice.
Yeah, this is going to be us yelling at each other again for another hour. I can already see it.
Love it.
But that's why people listen to the show. We'll be reviewing the new Korpiklani, Kulkija, which is it's folk metal, Finnish folk metal. So we'll review the new Korpiklani on the Metal Hammer of Doom on Wednesday, and then Thursday, it's Sean Comer and I back again, tag team. We're doing On Trial. I'll be prosecuting. He'll be defending Robert Rodriguez's Predators.
Which I loved.
Which, by the way, if you're into buying movies on iTunes, you can get all three, Predator, Predator 2, and Predators for $15 right now. Which it's quite the bargain. Next week it's Iron Fist all week long. We'll be reviewing the Ed Brubaker and Matt Fraction's Immortal Iron Fist Volume 1, which is issues 1 through 6 on source material. And then we'll be looking at TV Party Tonight, Iron Fist Season 2. On the Metal Hammer of Doom, we're reviewing the new Therapy. And that's it for the month of September.
I'm trying to get my dog to quit licking my foot right now. And I'm
Stop smearing peanut butter on it.
I didn't! Ladies and gentlemen, that was the schedule. And now my dog is like coughing, gagging. I told you not to lick my foot. For Streaming Boy, you can find us right here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn. We are on slight hiatus of putting our own content out right now, through those, but we'll be back very soon. We're making plans right now to come back and get some shows worked out so we can put out some cool content for you. But we have so many network exclusives right here. We've got this one. We have the Rise and Fall of Toys R Us, or we have The Day the Laughter Died, where we talked about the firing of James Gunn. We have several more on here, so please check those out. Hit subscribe, hit like. Go find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. At Screaming Boy PR on Twitter, Screaming Boy Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And just give us a shout out. Like I said, like our stuff. Tell us you love us because we love you. And with that, I'm going to say we are out.
All right. Right. It's your job to say we're out, not me. All right, folks.
Go for it.
All right, everybody, be well, be safe, and behave.